Well, the story goes a little behind. For many years, I have known of the work from Coastkeeper, and I've always been very interested in the work that they were doing. And that's one thing. The other thing is that when I heard about that they were looking for places where they could show up with the project that they were doing, I thought, hey, you know, that would be great. It would be great because I am very interested in what they do. I'm very interested in the issue of urban runoff. Plus, I'm very interested in rainwater collection. This is something that, you know, I come originally from Spain, and we use rainwater, capturing rainwater for a lot of different things. So I figure, you know, that would be kind of an interesting combination to have at home, something that has to do with rain and something that has to do with resolving or helping to resolve somehow the problem of runoff to the ocean. So that's kind of what got me interested in doing it. I'm a teacher at Golden West College, and interestingly enough, we had a grant that was given to us by the Metropolitan Water District that has to do with making some kind of an educational unit for people to know about it. So I got very in relation to water and water conservation and water runoff and rainwater collection and so forth. So I thought it would be nice to perhaps experiment at home with the same idea that perhaps I could be using also, you know, to promote it my way through my classes. And it's very interesting when people ask me about it, and I told them, you know, this is an interesting project, and this idea of letting people know this number that, you know, with a 1 inch of rain, you're going to be collecting, you know, for 100 square feet, you're going to be collecting, what is it, how many gallons, 800 gallons or 600 gallons? It's like people say, wow, this is amazing. And I just say, yeah, look, you know, it's just collecting from this roof. And that many gallons of water are not going to be going into the ocean. And people like that, to hear that. Okay, well, this originally was just the lawn, regular lawn. And when a couple of people came over to give me an idea of what I could do, we looked at various things, but I guess within the budget, we were limited to the budget. So we thought, okay, well, something that would be good would be to just capture the water from this roof, this section of the roof up here, that was already had the rain gutters, and just conduct and bring that water when it rains, come down this way and bring it down into this area here, so that we at least would divert the water from the rain that would be otherwise coming down the entrance down to the street. So the idea was to divert as much as possible. So in this case, because of the budget, we decided that that would be the best. Pick up the area, the water from this roof, and bring it down to this, I'll call it a dry river. So basically what it took was to dig a hole. It's about, this trench, it's about 1.5 to 2 feet deep all the way, curved all the way over here. And this small basin here, the end of this area, it's about 2.5 to 3 feet deep. So that was the first job, which was probably the most, the hardest one of all. And then we came with, I went to a landscape area to get some rocks, different sizes, different colors, that was the idea. And then to fill it up with rocks. And the rocks that you have here, a variance on size. So you start more with this kind of gravel, this size, and that's all the way down, mostly the 2 feet deep. And then you go and kind of try to make it look a little more wild, I guess, with different types of rocks and different sizes of rocks. And then once all of this was done, you So it was a decision to make it look a little different with a few plants. So I was told by the landscape designer, the type of plants that I should use. So I went to the nursery, picked up those plants, ordered them actually, and then picked them up. And then with the help of somebody who knows how to kind of make things look nice, we kind of planted them in different ways. And now, this is basically the first year that has been done. And I'm very pleased. I like, those plants that they're nicely growing now in here. And all of this type of plants that we put around, they're all growing very nicely. Low maintenance, which is great. I don't have to cut the lawn in this area either. And in fact, what I'm trying to do, and I will probably do, is I'm going to take that section as well. And maybe even pick up a larger area of the lawn to do that. It's just a question of how to really bring the water from the roof to the area. That's what might cause a little bit of a problem. And the other thought I had was to duplicate the same idea on this side of the house, so that then we could collect the water that comes from that roof when it rains and divert that one and build something similar to that into this area here. Take out the lawn on this area, put the same type of rocks and dig it out, sink the water, and it will be good for the grapes that I have here, and perhaps bring a couple more grapes and make it look a little different than it is now. But with the idea that all that water that would be wasted and going over down to the street, diverted it this way and that way. That's the idea to do now in the front of the house. For the back of the house, it's a little different design that I have in mind to do in the future.
It all depends.
This was a simple project, and I tried to do most of it myself. And between plants and rocks and so forth, and labor to dig the hole and everything, I don't know, I spent about a couple of $1,000s. So economical in the sense of, what is the payoff in terms of what you invest in terms of dollars. I don't know, I haven't really calculated, but that is nothing that, I think that would be an interesting thing to know, economically, what's the payoff of something like that. And I think the payoff would be more related to
each individual.
Capturing water. In other words, capturing water from rain that you would not be using for other purposes. And that's why I figure, that capturing rainwater is so important for two things. For water conservation, but also because you're reducing the urban runoff. So for me, it has really two advantages. To me, it's absolutely clear. I think everybody should have these kinds of things, And however it happens, I don't know. But, I think perhaps if there is some cities that start doing some mandates on legislation and like this, I think everybody should do it. I mean, there is absolutely no reason why California should have, it's a dry place. And in a dry place with a lot of people, with a lot of lawns and golf courses and things like that, I hear sometimes that they tell me that the most water usage in a home, 70% goes for doing your outside work. And that's incredible. People don't realize that. And that's really not needed if you start being a little bit more conscientious. And I think we all need to be. So I am all for it. I think also the great thing about it is that I think it's a possibility to, these days people talk about not having jobs and so forth. I see it as a good source of jobs. You know, like I tell my students, I tell them, hey, you know, you guys get involved into things like that, water related issues, because you could be a landscape, I wouldn't say landscape architect, but the landscape architects that design those systems, then they need to implement it, right? You need to find the people to do this, to do the planting, to know a little bit about it. And I think it's a good source for jobs for people who are interested to do these kinds of work.
Because it's ongoing.
It's ongoing, and it's outside, and it's work that you do outside. It's not just, you know, going out there and cutting the lawn, you know, like everybody's got a job, you know, cutting the lawn and having, you know, there's a lot of other things that you can do with those gardens, and I think this would be a great thing to specialize in for people. You know, I figure that I contribute to the fact that somehow or another a little bit of water is not going to be down to the going to the ocean polluted and polluting the ocean. So it's like everything. I feel that if everybody participates a little bit, you can do a lot of different things, but everybody has to contribute. So that's the way I look at it, and for me, it looks nice. That's another benefit I liked it. I got some nice comments about it. Well, you know, that's kind of interesting. You have this little dry river with a few plants in here, and they like that. So that's a good benefit for me. I'm even considering making it larger. So if I can collect some more and do it the same way, I may do more.